G'day guys, Mac with the Outer Circle, and today we're looking at the Night Lords in getting started in the Horus Heresy. This box set works surprisingly well for Night Lords. I know, I'm shocked too by this revelation, but the more I look at it, the more I feel like it's a good starting point for the Legion. The Night Lords have a lot of specialist melee units and such available to them, whether it's Atramenta, Kontakar, Terror Squads, Raptors. Therefore, basic bolt guns actually kind of suits them. And when you move into things like the characters, they're not so hideous here because you could see a Night Lord being a little bit like this guy. But anyway, before we get into the models, rules. You're going to need the Liber Hereticus for this one. Obviously, Night Lords being traitors, they're in this book. And even if you're playing Loyalist Night Lords, bit of a weird choice, their rules are in here too. It's the same Legion rules, just play them a little bit friendlier. I don't know how you play the same Legion that skins their enemies while they're alive as a friendly Legion, but apparently that's a thing for some. It's got me worried about them. Now, transfer sheet. Arguably the worst transfer sheet in the Horus Heresy range because it has all sorts of crazy numbers of decals and markings. So basically everything aside from the Legion iconography at the very top, the little winged bat head, the winged skull, everything apart from that starts to get into weird numbers where it's 6s, 12s, 4s, 5s, and obviously the Horus Heresy, most units, especially in the starter box, are going to be squads of 10. Because basic tactical marines in the Horus Heresy, for those who don't know, are minimum squad size 10. That makes it very hard to have a squad with identical markings. And for some people, being totally chaotic with their markings and everyone is unique and an individual is a thing. But for others, they want to be able to quickly and easily identify that a whole squad of Marines are from the same squad, and the easiest way to do that is by having matching shoulder markings. Well, this decal sheet is not the best for it. That said, it is covered in really cool decals nonetheless. I really like the Grim Reapers, and they look really, really nice on the side of a Spartan. I did one for a friend. I did a vehicle with these on the sides of it. I think it might have been a Sicaran battle tank. And yeah, really, really cool with the Reapers on there. It comes with lightning, so you don't have to paint it all on, but there's nowhere near enough to do what's in the basic box. In any case, my suggestion would be buy 2 of this transfer in order to fully do the models in the basic box. Free advice, don't have to follow it. Now, for our choices of upgrading these miniatures, they're going to be a bit bizarre. I'm going to show you box sets from Games Workshop, 2 in particular, but I'm not saying to buy them. There are pieces in those box set which are very easy to find and buy online. So the first one will be the Start Collecting Slaves to Darkness, because some of these weapons, the hands are armoured. Straight away, it looks like power armoured hands. Awesome. That means any of these weapons work, and I think the spiked maces especially would look fantastic kitted out on the other Praetor in order to make him feel a bit more like a Night Lord. So yeah, take your pick of those because they're pretty brutal looking weapons, and even the shields kind of work as a combat shield, for example. Even though they're a bit chaotic, having things like probably the one with the face on it or the other one with the spikes, either of those would make a pretty cool combat shield for a Night Lord. You could use one of the other ones, maybe just file away or clean away the Chaos Star and what have you, and put a nice decal onto there in order to make the model pop. But that'll help to make this guy a little bit less Imperial looking versus the first guy who pretty much is a Night Lord. Another thing is the Chaos Space Marine. So in this case, it's the Terminators. The trophy racks. Lots of people don't use the trophy racks, so they're actually very easy to get online. And of course, there's multiple different types. I wouldn't go probably using the Imperial Guard helmets or the Primaris helmets that are floating around in some of these, but that's not the point. The point is that there's lots of these, and they're plastic, they're easy to glue on, and probably 2 of the spikes at a time. So cut each of the 4 spikes because you get 4 spikes attached onto the torso, onto a little strip. Cut it in half, so you put 2 of the spikes at a time onto the basic Space Marines or onto your characters on the backpacks, just in order to add a little bit of Night Lord's flavour. Also, really easy way to add some more visually appealing stuff to your vehicles is looking at those spiky upgrade sets from 40k. And then, of course, we jump on over to Forge World, where there is really not much on offer without going to the special units, and I don't think the special units here are good for making Praetors or for making Legion Veteran Tactical Squads, for example, and I wouldn't guide you towards Contacar Terminators, because I don't think they provide the 1-2 punch with Cataphracti that something like, say, Palatine Blades do, which are very fast, hard-hitting at initiative. These guys don't do that. So here we really just want the heads, and my favourite one is the one that's second up from the bottom on the far right-hand side. I love that helmet. It's one of my favourite helmets the Games Workshop has ever put out. That helmet on this guy. I'm telling you, it's a winning combination right there. But these helmets in general, spread out through the squads instead of the beaky helmets. I think just buy tons of these helmets. Put them everywhere. Ignore the beakies. The beakies don't look anywhere near as good on Night Lords as these helmets do. So a whole army with these will look fantastic. Of course, lastly, Nostroman Chainglaves. Now, I'd be tempted to buy one of these. I would give it to... You could take one and easily give it to this Praetor. Replace that silly-looking sword, cut it off at the wrist. This is a common theme that you're seeing me do with these videos, is cut this guy's hand off. I don't like that sword. Some people will, and there are some legions where it will look fantastic. I think Blood Angels, it might work well. But in this instance, cut it off, because one of the biggest things you can do in order to visually tell what legion is what is the weapons. You see a scythe, you know that's a Death Guard. You see a chain axe, you'll think World Eaters. And if you see a Nostroman Chainglaive, you're going to think Night Lords. Well, it applies here. So cut his hand off at the wrist, put a Chainglaive on him. Even if you don't use it as your Chainglaive, use it as something else. It counts as a Paragon Blade, whatever. No one's going to care. It's going to look really cool. Or you can just use it as a Chainglaive, because they got decent rules. And use the other Chainglaives in there to kit out the sergeants in your squads. Why not? And you don't feel like you have to use the two-handed option on all of these blades. Many of these weapons, it's very easy to just cut away the other hand and sand back the handle, and it'll be as if there was never a second hand on the glaive. Just food for thought for you. Anyway, that's about it for the Night Lords. Another pretty simple one, and they're really going to benefit from future videos talking about what to add to the Force. But right now, the box set actually works pretty well for them. So we're not going to touch it any more than this. Mac with the Outer Circle, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.